Carney's little propaganda stunt looks a little too familiar to me, and let's talk about what's going on with Carney labeling Palestine a state. Welcome back to the Freedom Pines podcast. I'm your host, Jamie A.B. This is where we debrief and discuss politics and pop culture from an independent perspective. And if that interests you, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share my videos because Commie Canada does not like me, nor do they like putting out my videos. So thanks so much, guys, and let's get into today's video. I will say that TikTok got a 4-minute, very angsty version of what I'm about to say to you guys, but here's the thing. You guys know I went to the My Chemical Romance tour this summer, and the thing is, the Black Parade was like kind of a musical. So the premise of the musical was that there was a dictatorship in the land of drag. Basically, it looked like North Korea. And, the whole show was kind of the dictator loves My Chemical Romance, so he makes them play for the masses to keep them under control. Before you start the show, it says things like, if you're over a family of 5, make sure that your noise is, down to a minimum, stuff like that. Very much this entire aesthetic drawn up by Gerard Way, and I just want to show you the similarities between the Liberals' newest propaganda and the propaganda that they made for this tour. Okay, so this is one of the trains from the Liberal propaganda machine. Notice how we got the little emblem there. Here's a much better one. This is the Canada Liberal propaganda. There's the My Chemical Romance stage. That's their font. This is the emblem / flag that they use. I gotta say, the weirdest part about this is that they actually sold, like, their whole export of this dictatorship was wheat. You can't make this, you can't make it up, okay? So to me, I don't know, seems a little spooky dooky. I don't know. What about you guys? Do you not think it's very weird? And you know what? I uploaded this to TikTok this morning. And someone said, anything to impress China. And I thought, wow. Hey, maybe that has something to do with why they're recognizing Palestine as a state. Yeah, let's talk about that in a minute, though, because I'm not done with this propaganda. Not since 2020 have we seen more blatant, actual, like, not saying that it wasn't actual propaganda in 2020, because it absolutely was, because we all know what the bigger picture was there. But this is so weird. Like, the bags of wheat and the fake housing, they are, and you know what this means? It means that they're desperate and they know that Canadians are sincerely struggling, okay? And instead of actually helping us, they are coming up with propaganda to show you guys, to quote, show us that they really care and that they're actually doing something. But in reality, they're literally creating propaganda. They're putting more effort into propaganda than they are to saving Canada. Let that sink in. Okay. And so that brings me to the whole Palestine thing. Okay. Number one, I have a couple of theories in my head as to why they're doing this. I was very sure that it was to win back their voter base because they found out, the left found out that they were still supplying weapons and stuff to Israel, and the base was not happy about that. So I thought, okay, maybe this is, to gain the trust of their base back. However, then someone said that thing about China on my other post about the propaganda that they put out. And I thought, wait a minute, isn't there some sort of, and here's the thing, I'm not good at global relations whatsoever. However, isn't there some sort of tiff between Israel and China? And maybe this was a nod to China to show them what side they're on. I don't know, because why, when Canadians can't afford food, are you sitting down and declaring Palestine a state? Canadians probably would actually maybe perhaps not like what's going on over there, although I will say the amount of propaganda, I have no idea what's real and what's not, which is why I don't talk about it, because I sometimes, like at the beginning of all of this, people were asking for donations and all of these things. And I thought, if they're in a country that is war torn, how would me giving money to these families help them? And how would they get out this money? You know what I mean? If nothing's there, all of these different things. Anyways, okay, there's so much on both sides that is, especially with what they can do now, I have no idea what's real and what's not. Okay. But most of the right leaning podcasters are, very against this. I don't know enough about it. Okay. I don't know what this means. To me, it seems very fishy that us and someone else declared it a state and a bunch of other people declared it a state. Here's the thing. We need to realize that if we hire a globalist billionaire to be our prime minister, that Canadians' needs are not there. He does not care about us. In his book, where he, in Values, where he says that, he quotes, it's not him saying it, but he quotes it and doesn't, disprove the quote. He says that the homeowner class is a disposable class who's good for fighting wars and keeping peace. Well, there's no peace to be kept when people can't afford to eat, MarkCarney. So you missed that part of the book where people are going to go fucking crazy for being in poverty. You're, you will own nothing and be happy looks more and more real every single day to Canadians. And enough people are going to start to be hungry. And they're either going to be even more delusional about liberals, or they're finally going to see, hey, you know what? Maybe the added pressures to business, added taxes to business, the extra spending and all of these different things, because I was naive once too. I thought, we could just print money. It's fine. Nothing will happen. It's invisible. Money's not real. Money is real. On a nationwide world that we share, money is very real, and it affects our economy when our government just keeps printing and printing and printing. That's why we need people to come here and invest in Canada. Okay? Hello? Anyways, all that's to say is whatever 5D chess these people are playing, I don't like it. America, no matter who is in there, we should be working with them because we work with every other dictatorship in the world, even if Trump was a dictator. He's not, but if he was, why would that stop you from working with Americans? Can someone let me know that? He's not going to be there in 4 years. You know that the most environmentally sound thing would be to get this trade deal and trade with America rather than places that are so far away from us. They create even more pollution, okay? And I also know how much of a cop-out it seems when people are like, are you pro this or pro that? And I say, I'm pro the people of the country who I don't know the real opinion of, because it seems that most of our governments have some sort of control on our algorithms. Okay, so I stick up for the Jewish people being wrongfully attacked right now. Okay, I stand up for the Jewish people who are being subjected to literal hate crimes. It makes me sick to my stomach that people think that this rhetoric isn't going to lead to horrible things. Okay, the things that they are doing as a government in that country should not affect how you treat people in Canada at all, nor should you be attacking them. It's despicable. It's disgusting. And when only one race, religion, ethnicity is targeted way more than the others, normally wouldn't that make the liberals cry? Didn't they call us all of these names during the Freedom Convoy, and now it's okay to do these things because, their narrative this week is the pro-Palestine thing? It drives me crazy, okay? And nor do I think that, the people who didn't vote for hummus deserve to be treated a certain way because of that either, okay? But I also know that there's tons of propaganda out there, and I don't know what's real. Anyways, and I just want to say that I saw the tweet from Trump saying that it's going to be really hard to make a deal with Canada now, so that's great. And I just want to remind everybody that if this is a game of chess, we are the ones that are getting kicked every time they make some sort of move. Yeah, that's how That's how their little game of chess works. As MarkCarney says, we are disposable, right? And the next story I'm telling you is one that I can't give you the details on because I would dox myself, but it's a great example of how the municipalities are helping this agenda go forward. And the agenda being owning nothing and being happy, you know. So anyways, a company wants to invest in a factory that's already here, okay? They want to put in a green end. So an environmental end, okay? They want to do a more environmentally friendly thing, so they have to build a whole thing. Investing in Canada, investing in our tiny town, okay? Who's stopping it from happening? Who's stopping it from happening? Is it the ding, 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 municipality won't give them the, what is it, grants? No, that's not the word for it. Permission, permits, whatever, okay? The municipalities won't do that. So this is why we definitely need to pay attention. And when we are having these municipal government elections, we need to ask these people, do you believe in investment in northern, wherever you guys are? Do we believe investment in, Elmer? Do we believe in investment in London, Ontario? What do you guys believe in creating Canadian jobs to support our economy? Yes or no? Yes or no? Because there's no way. Let me tell you something. The place that's there right now is probably the worst thing for the environment. So you're telling me that instead of actually creating a cleaner version of this so that we're not poisoning the town, they're denying the permit? Give me a break. So what would be the reason? I need to know. I might call my municipal office. I don't know. I'll let you guys know how that goes, okay? And I was going to make this, I did make a video, but I was really upset in it because over the weekend, as you guys know, on Friday, public health came to my kid's school and I kept my daughter home. She was already kind of sick anyways, but I needed to go to North Bay. We went to North Bay. I was only able to get a t-shirt for myself for my birthday. Okay, and I couldn't afford anything else in the mall. So I'm not even sure how long stores can stay in business, because a lot of us can't afford to shop anymore. Like if you have kids, there's no going shopping. I don't know how much you have to make to not get taxed into oblivion and also be able to afford your bills and stuff, okay, and food and all of these different things. Not a clue. But anyways, that's what I mean. I don't know how long these things are going to be in when it's $20 to eat at the food court, when it used to be under 10. I remember going to White Oaks Mall and paying under $10, but and then we went to the thrift store, and it's wild. I've worked at thrift stores before. I worked at the Goodwill in Woodstock, and the amount of people there, it was a 50% off day. I had no idea it was a 50% off day. That was just luck of the draw. The amount of people that were there. And, normally 50% off days are the busiest days because our low-income families in the neighborhood get notified and they come in and they're able to buy a bunch of stuff for super, super cheap. At least they were 10 years ago. A shirt that was $3 would be $150. You know what I mean? A sweater, a hoodie, okay? $3. Now they're like $15. What happens when people when the low income families can no longer afford the low income options? And people like me, I don't even know. Am I middle class? The amount my husband makes, I can't believe how broke we are. I can because of how expensive groceries are, but how much my husband makes should not equal to us being poor is what I'm saying. So I can't even believe how little we get to spend on anything other than food. And now we can't even afford thrifting. When we go to the thrift store, if we're going clothes shopping, it's significantly less than what we used to get. Okay? And there were middle-class women in there, and I don't even know if they were buying their own stuff or if they were buying stuff for shelters, because a lot of women do that, actually, more than you guys think. And I don't know if it was that, but they never used to have to wait for 50% off. They would just come in and buy on a normal day. So whatever the case is, it's a good indication of how incredibly poor Canadians are every single day, okay? Every single day it seems like I go to the store and everything is plus 50 cents more than it was yesterday. And when those things are added to every single thing that you're buying, It adds up. Magically, the hot dogs went back up to $7.47 for a regular pack of Red Hots. They were $3 last week. I don't know how these things work. They don't even put them on sale. They're not even on sale when they were $3.47. I took photos. I have no idea how Canadians are going to survive. And this is what I've been yelling about. I realized how much the carbon tax and all of the different taxes were impacting us financially even 2 years ago. And I have been screaming ever since that spending money out of control is not good for our economy. And I'm not young. I'm not 25 anymore. I understand things are a little bit more complex than, oh, why can't we just print money? And I'm here to tell you, there's no just printing money without creating a deficit, without having countries investing. Okay, look at, if you are somebody on the left who believes in Sweden and Denmark, they have a 2-tier healthcare system, by the way. They export all of their natural exports. Okay, that is how they are able to have more of a successful country. Now, I don't know what's going on now with all of this stuff. You know, if they're doing the same thing as us, I don't know. But if there is a good example as to how things were working very well in those places before, it's because they relied on their natural exports. And we need to all grow up and realize that countries cannot, you know, I wish I watched the I watched the Pierre and Vashi interview, and I wish Pierre said that and laid it out straight. Like, listen, we either dig into Canada, okay? We either dig and use our own natural exports, or we ask the questions that nobody else is asking. Why are we using slave mined energy from other countries? Why are we doing that? Why are we so okay with tapping into other parts of the earth, but some reason Canada is too hard to touch? Lay out the facts. Look what happens when people can't afford food and heat and all of those different things in Canada. You die. We don't have year-round gardening, okay? And I mean, every time I go to North Bay, it seems like there's more and more homelessness, more and more addicts everywhere. And it's just sad. It's sad. And I hope you guys know that, you know, homeless people get dropped off in Northern Ontario. And I don't really know why, because they have a better chance of surviving the north or the winter down south. But for some reason, they're sent up to the north. You guys put 2 and 2 together. Okay? Anyways, guys, I will see you guys tomorrow or today. I am sorry about not uploading on the weekend, but I was so emotional and I was like, how many videos can I upload of me crying? I don't want to, okay? But it's just the truth. It's just the truth. Like, we are struggling. And, you know, we've done the math and there's nothing I can really do that will make us be able to afford daycare for my kids, okay, or care, whatever you want to call it. It wouldn't make the small amount that I would make after all of the traveling and daycare and all of that stuff, taxes. It wouldn't be worth it. So that's great. I have given up a lot, by the way. People are like, oh, you need to do this, this, and this. I have done enough. Okay, I've done enough. And I'm done with it, okay? And I'll see you guys tomorrow.